All right, welcome to sort of beginner's guide to InDesign, and today we're going to create a storyboard template for our storyboards for film and television, or short film. And the reason we're doing it in InDesign is because InDesign is a great layout program, and it's going to allow us the flexibility of having image boxes, which will be our storyboard frames and text, and it's a lot easier to work in a program like this for multiple page views like we're going to get, as opposed to working in Photoshop or Illustrator, which are sort of really designed for single image use, or single item uses. And even though you can use artboards and things like that, this is, I think, a lot more efficient way to go about it. And this plays well, InDesign plays well with all the Adobe products, as well as products that may not be in Adobe, so if you use anything GIMP or whatever, as long as you save a JPEG or a PNG, you can bring it over here to InDesign. So let's start. And what we want to do is we want to start with a printout page. So we don't want to start in web view or iPad. We want to start out with a page that will allow us to print out pretty sharp images. Letter right now is portrait, but we don't want to do portrait. We want to do landscape for ours. If you like to do yours portrait, of course, you can do up and down. We're going to do side to side. You are your own storyboard person for your own film, so whatever way is going to work for you in the future, that's fine, but for our purposes, let's do it this way. When you create a new document, this will come up, and here you can make alterations to the size. And right now you can see it's in picas, so it's not expecting us film and television people to be here. We're going to move this to inches though, because we're not going to use pixels. So when you're working in video, of course, things like that work in pixels, but we're going to work in inches because it's 8.5 by 11 page we want to do, and we want to be landscape for our design layout here. And I'm just going to hit create. And now I have a master page number 1, and you can see on mine it's in pages. Yours may have started with properties open, so if it's a properties here, there's pages. So this is something that you can look at, and if you don't see anything, and this is an Adobe thing, very much Adobe and other programs as well, if you don't see something there and you're like, well, it's missing something, so pages, you can turn pages on there. You can go to properties here, but you can see it's already put it in here for us, so we can just click along. But if you're missing something, you're like, I want the effects thing, or I want layers, click on that, and then there's your layers. You'll see it's coming out here. So there's all sorts of tools here: links, stroke, which we're going to use, colors, properties, pages. So all this is great for your organization. So this is just the simplicity of this is great. And over here we have tools, which is selection tools. The ones we're going to use today are selection. We're going to use a text box tool, and we're going to use the frame. So a few of the tools here, but as you'll see, it's pretty simple and great for what we're about to do. But if I will go to the pages, I want you to be aware of something here in pages. Here's we have our pages. So we can go one, and we can right click and insert a page and add more and more pages as we go, which we will do. But there is something called a master page, and the idea of the master page is that if there's something that you want to occur on every single page, you can use a master page, which we can start with that. But the only thing is, if you put it on a master page, you can't edit it. So if I put a text box here, I can't edit it. So let me show you that. So how do we make a text box? How do we make text? We'll click on the text tool. You'll notice, unlike say Photoshop or After Effects or Illustrator, if I click, nothing happens. It's like, oh, I want to type this in, but nothing's there. Everything is done in text boxes. So I have to click and drag out a text box, and now I can work on my text. So I'll call this Storyboard, and we'll call it the name of my show, Vicious Dogs. And my name, And what you want to do generally is put like a version or something. You can put the date if you'd like. I like versions myself, so I'd call it either V1, V2, V3, or if you like revision 1, 2, 3. So Rev 1, which means if I go and make changes to this and I want to do a Rev 2, that'll be there as well. So just constantly be changing these as we go along. So this way I know, the one that's revision 9, if there's no Rev 10, I'll know that that one is the one that I want to be using. And with that in mind, I'm going to hit File, Save As. And my documents, I'll save this as Vicious Dogs Storyboard Template. And we can call this version 1, or we'll just call it Rev 1, just like we did here. I didn't put that on a desktop. I'll just put this on my desktop, actually. Be easier for me to get at after. And if I wanted to, if I want to just create a template here, I can just not even put a revision on this, just put a storyboard template, and that way I can open this up and then save as, and then just use this as the beginning point of all mine. So so it's up to you how you want to do that, but that would be a good way to go, is just to make it a storyboard template. Why don't we do that? And then when we're done, we'll change it to what it actually is, which is the Vicious Dogs. Okay, so with our text box there, I can now use the selection tool up here and check out your V is the shortcut. So V, so always hover over and take a look. Things you're going to use a lot. F is rectangle frame. T is text tool, so if I wanted to create, say, a page numbers, I can hit T again, and then I can say page. And then I'm going to put a page number in here. Right now I'll just put in as page 1, but we'll look at that in a second because we're going to get this to do something automatic for us in a moment. So the thing is that now that I put this on the master page, this will show up on every page. So every time now I insert pages, so I insert 5 pages, well, each one is going to have this item on it, which is great. But you'll notice the page numbers aren't changing. We'll fix that in a second. I'm going to undo that because I'm just going to work on the master page, and then I'm going to fill in this page with the other content. So Vicious Dogs, and if I click on my text, you'll see that I can resize my text box, but it doesn't resize my text. This is something different from the other programs we're used to, like Photoshop. Like this would make the text bigger or smaller. This is just the text box, what it fits into. If you want to actually change the text, you can select your text and then go to your properties, and then you can change your text here. So Vicious Dogs, you can just choose any old font that I think looks good for it. Arial, doesn't like Arial, right? Boring old Arial. There we go. What is that? Blair, something or other. Good. Then I can say 14 point or 12 point or 10 point or whatever I want. 9 point. And all the different tools that you could use in centering, paragraph, justifications, all that kind of stuff. Again, we're not going to get too much into this. I do want to point out, though, the reason why it's gone down to the second one is because my text box isn't wide enough. And I want a space between Rev and 1. There we go. Vicious Dogs, revision 1. That's fine. So that's going to occur on every page. And now this page number is going to occur on every page, too. And say I want to, I'm going to right justify this. But this page 1 I want to change. So what I can do, and here's a trick, and pay very close attention, is go up to Type, selected 1, and then I could go Insert Special Character, Markers, and then change page number, current page number. So this will change the page number for every page that I make. So I'm going to hit current page number. It's just going to put its little character in. I'm not going to worry about that. It's doing its little thing in behind the scenes. But now you'll see that when I go to page 1 down here, double click on it, it says page 1. And if I insert a page, one after this one, it makes it page 2. Page 1. So it'll do that for me. So that's my master page, and I'm set up with it. I'm fine with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete it, because again, I want to do some stuff first before I start making all my other pages. So the one thing you'll notice with being on the master page is now I can't edit this. I can't click on it. I can't do anything to it. If I want to make a change to this at all, I want to change the font, I got to go to the master page. But this is very helpful. You know, it's great for just making sure that this reoccurs and we don't have to worry every time we add a page. It's not a big deal. But I want all the stuff that's inside the page to be editable now, which is like the storyboard frames and my text. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to populate this, and we'll use another technique to just use these in various other pages. I'm going to choose now the rectangle tool. If you hear any noise on my microphone, it's somebody is doing some work outside my window, but that's okay. I'm working in here, they're working out there. So I'm just going to make a frame that's like 3 inches by, I don't know, 1.5 or something. Something approximating a HD frame. And I'm going to have 3 of these, so I'm just going to make it around 3 inches or so. Now the frame is there's nothing, it's just empty right now, there's nothing to it. And if I go to my properties, if you can see, you have transform properties, so it's got width and height. So if I wanted to make it 3 by 1.5, 3 by 1.5, I can do that. And that frame is that. And all I want to do is add a little stroke on the frame of this so that we can actually see it. Otherwise, if I print this out, there's nothing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the stroke here. And if I pull down stroke, you can see that there are all sorts of things that you can use for a line. But what I want to do is say, how thick is this line going to be? So I'm going to say 1 point. And again, if I wanted it to be fancy, which I don't want it to be, I could make it dashed lines and all that. We're making it simple, stupid. And corners and all that we can change. So something just for you to note. And if you wanted to fill this with a color, you could fill it with a color. But for storyboards, we don't want to do that, so we won't bother with that. What we want to do is fill it with nothing. So this makes it transparent. And if you see this in Illustrator, Photoshop, any other program, it just says nothing is in here. It's just a transparency. So as we have is just a frame. And that's what we want. And now what I want to do is to copy this 3 times over to start my template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my selection tool. And there's different ways you can do stuff, right? You can go edit, copy, and paste. There it goes, paste right in the center. And you can plop that in where you want it. And you can click on it and hit, Command C, Command V, or Control C, Control V, depending on what you're doing. Or another trick I want to show you, because you use this a lot in other programs like even Premiere, After Effects, Illustrator, is holding down your Option key or your Alt key and then clicking and dragging, and you'll see that it duplicates. It's beautiful. So it makes a duplicate of the thing that you want, which is awesome. So now I can line these up the way I want to, and now I have 3 storyboard frames. And what I want to do now is underneath my storyboard frames, I want to have my shot numbers, scene numbers, panel numbers, everything like that, that I can fill in with my information from my screenplay. So I'm going to make a text box again. So normally we'll start with a scene number. So scene number 1, scene number 2, scene number 3. Then we'll have a shot number. And this should coincide with your shot list. So shot 1, shot 2, shot 3. So what you're filming on the day, you're going to have it all broken down. And here we can also put a panel number in case your shot has several elements to it. So a big panning shot or anything like that may take even more than one panel. So 2 panels, 3 panels. So it's a moving shot. So say you're doing Goodfellas and you're going into the bar for the first time on that big Steadicam shot. You know, you might want to go from this shot and it's going into the hallway, into the kitchen, all one shot. So it's panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, that kind of thing. And then what you'll want to do is put in your description, which should come right out of your script, or description/action. And then this should come right out of your script. What is happening on the screen? And if you wanted to, you can put framing as well. So you can say, and this would be close up, wide shot, medium shot, all that kind of thing. And if you want, you could edit this as you will. So if you have sound effects that you were putting in that's really important, you can put a note here. So any notes, let's just say we can put notes in here, and then anything that you need to remind yourself of or anything like that, there's going to be a sound effect here, you can put that in. So basically this is the start of our wonderful template. So what I want to do with this text box, I haven't filled it in, so I want to copy and paste it. So I'm going to copy it. I'm Control C or Command C, and then Command V. So I'll paste it. So I can do that. And you can see that it tries to help you, by the way, when you're, a lot of the Adobe ones do this. It'll try to help you with your placement. So it'll say, oh no, this is in line with that, and this is in the center. Even if you grab this box, it'll be there. There's the center. So now everything's in the center. These are all on the right and left. It's perfect. And I'm going to hit Option or Alt, and I'm going to make a duplicate this way. So just my other method of doing it. So the next thing is that we have this as a template. We can create several pages now. Now I could have put this on the master page and it would occur on every page, but every time I went to go and fill this in, I would have to unlock it. And I don't want to have to do that. I would just want to be able to do it this way. So this, the only thing that's going to reoccur automatically is the top one. So I'm gonna lasso these, just click and drag, and I'm gonna hit Edit Copy. And then what I'm gonna do is go to my pages here, and I'm gonna start inserting pages. And let's insert 10 pages. And then you'll see that it's populating all of these pages for us, and it's numbering them. That's great. That's where our master page has been helpful. But what I want to do now is add my elements to this. So I'm going to paste, and of course it's going to be a little bit of a setup for all this, but it's worth it just in order to save yourself time for Command V that time. And you'll see it's kind of a pain when you paste, because it pastes it in the center, not where it was. But anyway, you've got the idea. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. It's going to take a little manual labor, which is fine. And then off I go. And now I can start to worry about populating these things, which is going to be in the next video. How do I actually populate this template? And there you go. Now, you might want to leave your last one blank or whatever, not, where you don't fill everything in, and then you can use that as a copy and paste further on down the more you get into it, depending on how many frames you can need. I don't know what we're going to need for a 5-minute film. So depending on your film, obviously, how long your shots are going to be, how short they are. So I'd leave the last one blank, and when I get to the last one, make new pages and copy and paste them in. Now what I want to do is save this as my specific storyboard. So it's not a template anymore. Actually, no, I want to save this first. Save it. So my template is saved. Now I'm going to say save as, and it'll be my very specific one, which is going to be Vicious Dogs Revision 1. And Storyboard Revision 1. And you'll say, but Mark, you screwed up. And I did, because I've put the name of Vicious Dogs on here. But that's fine, because then if I open my template up again, all I do is change this to Grimsby is another script I wrote. Grimsby. And then I just changed that once, and now it's going to change it on every single page going forward. So doesn't matter what the if it's done on the master page, it's a quick little fix, and then off to the new one. And if Grimsby has a different feel about it, I'm like, I like, that's not a Grimsby font. When I send this out, I want people to feel the movie. Go to my properties again, change my font to something more Apple Chancery. No, God, no. I'm gonna do something like, I don't know what this is, but it's not Comic Sans. Let's just do this one just for fun. And we'll say 12 point. And there we go. So that'll feel more like Grimsby feels. And so on and so forth. So that's how we create basically the storyboard template. And then if I want to now, just click in scene number and start putting all my stuff in. And that'll be the next video. Scene 1, shot 1, panel 1. And this would be a description. There you go. And now we're off to the races. So till the next tutorial, which we'll just talk about how to populate these frames then with our storyboards, and how we move along from here. Let's leave you with this, and thanks very much.